What would you do if a bulletproof time capsule revealed a centuries-old weapon that's still razor-sharp? Hold up 2,300 years in a tomb, and this sword looks brand new. Archaeologists in China unveiled an ancient bronze sword, still sharp and glossy after 2,300 years. It was found in tomb number 18 at Xinyang in Henan province. It's a Jian, the classic double-lodged Chinese sword from the Warring States period, around 475 to 221 BCE. And get this, it was snug in its wooden scabbard, inside a sealed coffin. I'm Riley Rush. I've chased storms and rare artifacts, but this find? Wow. Stick around for answers and hit subscribe for history's wildest stories. You're watching Crazy Top 10. Quick poll. What do you think kept this edge? A. Metallurgy magic. B. Tomb conditions. C. Film trick. Drop your letter in the comments. By the way, we dug through official posts from the Henan archaeology team, yes, including their Weibo update to pull the real details and quotes. So, how did a weapon stay so perfect for millennia underground? We'll peel this open layer by layer. First we test the shock factor, then we decode the metal, then we crack the tomb's microclimate. Let's pry open this mystery literally and figuratively. How on earth can a metal blade survive thousands of years looking fresh? Even seasoned detectorist John Belgrove said his head was in a spin when he pulled a Bronze Age rapier in Dorset and the blade of the sword was still sharp. That's from Live Science. So it's rare, but it happens. In China, experts looked at this Warring States Jian and called it incredibly special. When pros use words like still sharp and glossy, we sit up straight. This isn't sleight of hand. There are real forces at work. The big clues? Craft and context. Some ancient blades were engineered to hold an edge, and some had the perfect sleep chamber underground. Drop a huge if you'd love to hold a millennia-old sword that still cuts. I'm not saying swing, just admire it. And yes, I checked detectorist news and museum releases to confirm those quotes for you. If we can't blame magic, what can we test? Let's start at the source, the build. Was this sword bronze, steel, or something stranger? The answer sets up everything that follows because the secret lives at the edge. What's inside this blade that lets it bite after 2,300 years? It's bronze, but not basic bronze. This is a Warring States Jian, and the smiths went full materials engineer. Analyses show a composite alloy, a high UO copper bronze core for strength and bendability, and high UO tin bronze along the edges for hardness and a razor bevel. As the history blog notes, different alloys were used to the weapon's best advantage. Think of it like a metal sandwich, flexible inside, super hard outside. The copper rye-rich body resists snapping when it meets armor. The tin-rich edge keep the cutting line keen. The Jian shows up around the 7th century BCE, and by Warring States times you see excellent bronze work alongside early steel. Pop quiz. Why load the core with copper? A better bendability. B. Cheaper. C. More sparkly. Type A, B, or C? The answer is A, so the blade can flex and not break. Smart design, right? But even great bronze can oxidize over centuries. So how did this edge stay so clean and glossy? For that, we need to leave the forge and open the tomb. Picture your favorite knife vacuum sealed for 2 millennia. That's basically what happened here. Reports say the sword was snug in its scabbard inside a wooden coffin. That tight fit acts like a time capsule, low oxygen, steady humidity, stable temperature. Corrosion hates that. Quick chemistry. Iron loves to rust with air and water. Bronze, a mix of copper and tin, can form a patina, but cut off oxygen and moisture, and that reaction crawls. Add a scabbard and sealed coffin, often lacquered in ancient burials, and you get a tiny microclimate that slows decay to a whisper. Ever leave a tool in the rain? You know the orange mess. Now picture the opposite. A tool parked in a dry, oxygen-poor bubble for 2,300 years. No wonder the edge still looks crisp. You see similar magic in other places. Egyptian tombs that dry seal artifacts, peat bogs that choke out air, even desert caves near the Dead Sea that halt oxidation. Storage is everything. Ever find an old coin or toy that survived because it was stored, right? Tell me your best save story. But is our Chinese blade a total fluke or part of a bigger pattern? Let's zoom out. Across the world, some blades just refuse to die. In Denmark, Museum Vestjylland excavated a Bronze Age sword where the fine detail survived roughly 3,000 years, according to Discover magazine. The casting lines and decorations still pop. In England, John Belgrove's Stalbridge Hoard rapier came up still sharp, and curators called the hoard incredibly special, not for magic, but for how clearly it shows Bronze Age craft. And in Israel, archaeologists found about 1,900 Yord Roman swords in a desert cave, described as excellently preserved, virtually intact after millennia. See the pattern? When you combine elite workmanship with the right burial environment, dry, sealed, low oxygen, or chemically protective, you can pause decay. The blade's edge doesn't grow, it just doesn't lose its bite. Has archaeology ever floored you with a fresh, ancient find? Drop it below. We skimmed research bulletins and museum notes to pull these examples for you. Okay, we've seen the context. Now, let's put a stake through the wild rumors and talk about what the science actually says. Short answer, no, this sword isn't cursed. When the Chinese Jian made headlines, folks wondered if conservators secretly polished or waxed it. There's no evidence of that. Experts credit its condition to smart ancient metallurgy and the sealed tomb environment. Over in Dorset, museum director Elizabeth Selby called that hoard incredibly special and pointed out the rapier's unusual cast bronze handle focus on technique, not spells. I love a good legend, but data wins. Peer-reviewed archaeology and conservation reports beat clickbait. So here's the filter. What is the alloy? What's the burial chemistry? If those two line up, you don't need myth. Do you believe in truly lost ancient tech? Or is it knowledge we've regained with better tools? Keep it friendly and tell me why. We've cleared the fog. Now that we know how and why, the best part is still ahead. What this blade says about the people who made it and the world they carried it into. A sword this clean screams status. We're in the Warring States period, 475 to 221 BCE, a time of constant war before Qin Shi Huang unified China. In an arms race like that, rulers and elite warriors wanted precision gear. A composite bronze giant with razor edges fits a high-O status owner, maybe a noble or a general. Burial context matters too. Fine weapons go into elite tombs as grave goods to honor the dead and equip them for the afterlife. That matches what we see here. On the tech side, high-O tin edges signal skilled alloying and access to tin. That hints at trade networks and specialized workshops. This isn't a one-off backyard blade. It's a product of a thriving craft tradition. The British hoard taught us that even pre-Roman societies were rich and connected. The same lesson echoes in China. Crafted weapons, standardized parts, and big plans for power. We reread Warring States histories to frame this right. If you could ask the owner of this giant one question, what would it be? I'd ask, why this exact blade battlefield proven or ceremonial pride? Okay, so what comes next for the sword itself? The lab lights are warming up. The next chapter happens under bright lab lights. Today, the sword is a prized artifact, likely curated by the Henan team. Conservators keep it stable while scientists peek inside without touching that edge. Expect CT or high-energy X-ray scans, metallography to read the microstructure from copper-rich core to tin-hard edge, and 3D modeling to nail the blade's geometry. Researchers can run residue tests too, looking for lacquer traces, scabbard fibers, or microscopic wear that tells us if it fought battles or lived as a status piece. If decorations or inscriptions hide under patina, imaging can tease them out. Public side? Many finds end up in museum shows just like plans for the Stalbridge hoard, so you might see this blade under glass with alloy diagrams and a cross-section animation that explains the metal sandwich. The biggest open question remains, who is buried in Tomb 18? Maybe epigraphy, DNA from associated remains, or organic residue can pin down rank or identity. That connection could turn a great artifact into a named story. What would you test first, CT, residue, or 3D scan? Type your pick. Now, let's bring it home. Here's the bottom line. No magic, just mastery. A 2,300-year-old Jian from Xinyang came out still sharp and glossy, Because ancient smiths engineered a high copper core with high tin edges, and a sealed scabbard in a wooden coffin kept oxygen and moisture at bay. What seems impossible is just great engineering plus perfect storage. I'm still buzzing. The past keeps proving how clever people have always been. Which detail hit you hardest, the alloy sandwich or the tomb time capsule? Tell me below. If you learned something, give this a thumbs up, share it with a friend, and hit subscribe to keep exploring with me here on Crazy Top 10. Final poll. If you lived 2,300 years ago, would you trade your smartphone for this sword? Yes or no, and why? Thanks for watching. Keep asking questions, keep exploring history's mysteries, and I'll see you in the next deep dive.